Napoleon Hill's Gold Standard, an official publication of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I'm your narrator, Rich Germain. Chapter 1. A quote from Eliezer A. Alperstein, CPA. If we view success as not necessarily finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but being able to meet the challenges we encounter as we go about trying to attain our definite major purpose, we will be able to remain positive. Today, we are hearing more and more about the necessity for change. Change is required to avoid the accumulation of many harmful traits, such as complacency, stagnation, inertia, resistance, sluggishness, and self-satisfaction. Those who are not desirous of change are said to be caught in a comfort zone, most often of their own making. If allowed, comfort zones become ruts that we fall into and eventually become graves. If we allow our attitudes to become grayish, we risk becoming old and spent before our time. How do we embrace change? I have heard that one way is to respond to a suggestion for change with yes and rather than yes but. The first response is open and offers additional ideas, while the second, more common, more polite way tends to be veiled criticism. By saying yes but, a person is really negating the idea being put forward. This is often termed constructive criticism. On the other hand, by saying yes and, the door remains open for acceptance and the ongoing opportunity to mingle ideas instead of verbally slamming the door in someone's face. Our attitudes can become hardened like our arteries. Our mental diet is as significant or perhaps more significant than our regular eating plan. It has been said that we are what we eat. Also, obviously, we are what we think. Mental and physical characteristics go hand in hand. Have you ever heard someone called a sourpuss, a scatterbrain, a flake, a parasite, or even a jackass? These are not meant to be complimentary terms. However, they are representative of attitudes that have so hardened that they now take on physical characteristics. Wouldn't it be better to be known friendly and helpful, an honest person, a leader, or even a mover and shaker? We can change our personality descriptors by changing our attitudes. Attitudes color our disposition and then slowly but systematically mold our character. Character then determines our destiny. Change begins inside each of us and expands to the outer limits of our physical selves. Next, the energy we generate touches those whom we come into contact with in a contagious way. Do you wish to be the harbinger of sickness or health, goodness or evil, heaven or hell? The answer lies in the attitude you display for the world to see. If yours isn't what you envision it to be, it's time to make a change. Begin today by saying yes instead of no as opportunities are presented. View life as a gift waiting to be unwrapped, not as a delete function on your keyboard. It will make all the difference to your future if you open yourself and embrace opportunities that come to you daily. In the end, you will be better for it. The Importance of Change by Napoleon Hill. Of the utmost significance is the fact that the Creator provided man with the one and only means by which he has broken away from the animal family and ascended into spiritual estates, where he may be the master of his own earthly fate. This means, thus provided, is the law of change. By the simple process of changing his mental attitude, man can draw for himself any pattern of life and living he chooses, and make that pattern a reality. This is the one and only thing over which man has been provided with irrevocable, unchallenged, and unchallengeable powers of absolute control, a fact which suggests that it must have been considered by the Creator to be the most important prerogative of man. Dictators and would-be world conquerors come and they go. They always go, because it is not part of the overall plan of the universe for man to be enslaved. It is rather a part of the eternal pattern that every man shall be free to live his own life, his own way, to control his thoughts and his deeds, to make his own earthly destiny. That is why the philosopher, who looks backward into the past to determine what is going to happen in the yet unborn future, cannot get excited because a Hitler or a Stalin momentarily basks in the light of his own ego and threatens the freedom of mankind. For these men, like all others of their ilk who have preceded them, will destroy themselves with their own excesses and vanities and their lust for power over the free world. Moreover, these would-be stranglers of human freedom may be only demons who unwittingly serve as shock troops to awaken man from his complacency and make way for the change that will bring new and better ways of living. Nature leads man through change after change by peaceful means, as long as man cooperates. But she resorts to revolutionary methods if man rebels and neglects or refuses to conform to the law of change. The revolutionary method may consist of the death of a loved one or a severe illness. It may bring a failure in business or the loss of a job, which forces the individual to change his occupation and seek employment in an entirely new field, where he will find greater opportunities which he would never have known if his old habits had not been broken up. Nature enforces the law of fixation of habits in every living thing lower than man, and just as definitely enforces the law of change in the habits of man. Nature thus provides the only means by which man may grow and evolve in accordance with his fixed position in the overall plan of the universe. Thomas A. Edison's first major adversity was experienced when his teacher sent him home after only 3 months in a grade school with a note to his parents saying he did not have the capacity to take an education. He never went back to school, a conventional school, that is, but he began to school himself in the great University of Hard Knocks, where he gained an education which made him one of the greatest inventors of all times. Before he was graduated from that university, he was fired from one job after another, while the hand of destiny guided him through the essential changes which prepared him to become a great inventor. A formal schooling, perhaps, would have spoiled his chances of becoming great. Nature knows what she is about when adversity, physical pain, sorrow, distress, failure, and temporary defeat overtake one. Remember this and profit by it the next time you meet with adversity. And instead of crying out in rebellion or shivering with fear, hold your head high and look in all directions for that seed of an equivalent benefit which is carried in every circumstance of adversity.